Randy Levine's vision, I appreciate because we met in a spirit of reconciliation. Many of you know Randy was an official in the administration that we met at the barricade, me marching on one side, him on the other, representing the mayor at that time, Rudy Giuliani. But we always respected each other. And it is in no surprise he could see reconciliation. And I think the day represents a lot for you, Randy, and Hal, for what the Yankees have meant to all New Yorkers and all Americans. Nelson Mandela was portrayed in the movie Invictus, where he had the wisdom of using soccer to unite a nation that had been long divided. So when he put on the Yankee hat, he knew to bring Americans into the global pursuit of tearing down barriers was something that he had done in South Africa, and with one expression, he did it in America. He brought Americans together against apartheid and against racism everywhere. Nelson Mandela's wisdom is something we bathe in. Jackie Robinson, who had the same quiet dignity to never respond to being cursed at and being called names. They had the grace and dignity of real freedom fighters. I think it must be said that Harry Belafonte and others, Randall Robinson and others, supported the Mandela movement way before it was popular enough to fill Yankee Stadium. They stood up and called on freedom in South Africa and for the integration of baseball when it was risky to their careers. And I thank God Harry's here today, as he was in organizing in 1990, to see this day come about. And Mayor David Dinkins, who represented the spirit of both men when he ran this city, brought us. I was in his delegation to the UN the first time that Mr. Mandela addressed the UN, and he would elevate the discourse in this city. And I think that it is important that as he is put where he belongs among the monuments, that yes, he was a champion, because champions are those that not only win the game, but change the game. And Nelson Mandela changed the game from being opponents to being those that were competitors for the same goal. He brought us together. Lastly, I must say, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I grew up under, who brought me first to Jackie Robinson's house in Stamford, Connecticut when I was a kid. The biggest day of my mother's life was meeting Jackie Robinson in the backyard at a Daytop Village fundraiser. Reverend Jackson brought us, and who taught a whole generation of us about the Free South Africa movement when he ran 30 years ago in his historic run for president. I remember when they were yelling about Madiba. And I said, Reverend Jackson, who's Madiba? He said, shut up, Al, it's Nelson Mandela. And I think it's appropriate that he's here and all the champions, Jose Serrano and all. But Randy, thank you for bringing us together. I think both Mr. Robinson and Madiba would be proud to see us all on the same stage.
Let me express just the evident joy of being here today. We watched and honored the power of suffering servants of sacrifice with high, non-negotiable principles. And Jackie Robinson broke in 1947, where the black, Latino, and white leagues came together to be called major for the first time. Jackie was the big rock that hit the water. Out the concentric circles came Larry Doby and Campanella and Don Newcomb and Roberto Clemente, and it just kept on. Today we saw Tanaka, a pitcher from Japan, striking out players from Dominican and from Puerto Rico and from all over America. In baseball, we find it a source of great joy. And no matter how fervently you pull for Team A or Team B, you can accept the outcome, because in baseball there is an inherent sense of justice. 90 feet to all bases, 60 feet from pitcher's mound to home plate. And no matter what your complexion or background may have been, whenever the playing field is even and the rules are public, and the goals are clear, and the referees are fair. If there's any doubt, there's now replay, and the score is transparent, we can make it. That inherent sense of justice allowed Jackie to break down those barriers. But he used his light to help illuminate the pathway of Dr. King. One of my memorable moments, the 1963 March on Washington, when Harry brought this huge delegation from California, was the rush out of the stadium, out of the march, going back to school, to watch Jackie and Rachel heading to the train station to get back to New York from the March on Washington in 1963. Jackie Robinson, with dignity, brought down walls that built bridges.